Hello and welcome to another episode of Minimize Regret. In this episode, I want to talk a little bit about exploring different areas and the seasonality of life in general. So, in a previous episode, I talked about really exploring your potential in at least a few areas, maybe only one area at a time, and how that's really important to make sure that you don't have any regrets in that area. However, that isn't to say that you should get stuck on one thing, and I do think that is a big thing that will cause regret. So, this is a bit of encouragement to see life as seasonal. And just an example of that, perhaps I'm really into lifting at the time and I really want to get stronger. But work also has to be a big priority of mine. So there may be times at work where I'm really busy in it and it consumes my whole life. And so lifting is going to naturally take a more maintenance back seat. And I will say it probably takes maybe a fourth of the time to maintain something as it does to improve at that thing. And so there could be maybe months where I'm just trying to maintain at lifting and I'm really focused on doing a good job, getting better at my job or really working towards a deadline. And so I can kind of maintain those two things and hold on to them concurrently. And so that's kind of like a micro seasonal aspect of life. And then from a longer term perspective, maybe you have 5 years where you're focused on this one project and you really see your potential in that area. And then you can either choose to pivot off of that and maybe you can use your experience to build something new with that. Or maybe you just switch to something completely different. So that's kind of trying things out and seasonality on a macro level. So for me, that's kind of happening now. I do feel like I've spent too much time lifting, and that may sound ridiculous because it's something that I enjoy, but really, quite honestly, it takes a lot of effort to try to get stronger, especially when you're already strong. And once I've reached a certain level, to me, it just wasn't worth it anymore, and perhaps I spent a little bit too much time dwelling on it simply because I was relatively good at it, but although not exceptional. And so now I'm trying to branch out into other aspects of fitness that maybe I'll enjoy, and a lot of it is like maybe different types of martial arts because that isn't as scripted and linear as lifting where you try to execute a perfect rep. With martial arts there's another person, and so you can't really script it out, and it's more guessing and intuiting based on the situation what you're supposed to do. And so that's going to be really challenging for me, both from a mental perspective but also physically, because I'm not all that flexible, and flexibility probably helps out a lot with those things. And by switching my focus, it's really going to force me to learn, grow, and adapt. So those are just some examples of seasonality and just also some encouragement to try new things, especially when you feel like you've stagnated in a certain area or seen your potential and are looking to either pivot or try something completely new. For me, I would say martial arts is more of a pivot because obviously strength is an important aspect to almost any sport. It's kind of a foundation. All else equal, strength is helpful. And so hopefully strength can help me excel in other areas. So yeah, like I mentioned before, this is just an encouragement to treat life as seasonal and try new things. Anyways, talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.